Hello there.
It's showtime.
What is this, trick or treat?
Did I do that?
I'm Sailor Moon, the champion of justice.
Daddy would have gotten us Uzis.
The power is yours.
My name is Grace Jones.
Thundercats.
Power of 3 will set us free. Power of 3 will set us free. Power of 3 will set us free.
There's no more room in hell. The dead will walk here.
Welcome back to the Radical Retro Rewind podcast. As always, I am your host, Radical Ryan Hunter, and I am joined by everyone's favorite brother and mine, David, for another episode of the podcast. Welcome back, David. How you been?
Hello, sluts.
Well, if that doesn't give you an idea of what we're going to be talking about today.
I didn't mean to call you sluts, really, but it just goes with it.
Today's topic, which is the short-lived 2015 TV series, Scream Queens. And David, before we get into it, we got a fantastic review.
And I can't deny the fact that you like me. Right now, you like me.
This came about after I went on Instagram and kind of begged people. A wonderful fellow podcast who does retro topics, Vision TV, left this fantastic review. As I said in the story, if anyone wants to do a review for us, you know, when I begged and pleaded, we will read it on the podcast. And not only that, I will make a post about it. I will tag you.
We'll celebrate it.
We'll celebrate it, and David, we will speak their name.
Yes, we will, and I love that.
This is a fellow David, has become a wonderful friend, and he says, this show is full of nostalgia greatness. If you're looking for a good trip down memory lane, then this is the show for you. Every episode just flies by as you'll be wrapped up in everything these guys say, plus their knowledge runs deep. Oh, bless you, David, bless you. I look forward to every episode, including their YouTube content as well. The graphics, music, editing, sound quality are all amazing. Thank you again. I highly recommend this to anyone who loves to look back at a better time. Oh, and if you want a nostalgia overload, please go and check out their YouTube. Ryan seems to have a never-ending amount of stuff in his basement that will bring back good memories, plus some stuff you've never knew about. David, other David, thank you so much for this review. Again, I am a fan of this podcast that he is on, Vision TV. Talk about quality retro topics. He does it all by himself. He's a one-man job and hysterical in his own right. So thank you for this. It's just one of these things, David, brother David. It really motivates us, I feel like, and it gives us something to look forward to. Because I know in the podcasting world, let's just say, having been a podcasting fan prior to us partaking in this journey, I don't think about, you know, all the time maybe leaving a comment or reviewing a podcast, because you take it, I don't want to say granted, because that's not what I'm trying to say, but you don't think about reviewing, let's say, a TV show or something that you like, but you look forward to. But honestly, with podcasting, it is all about getting it out there and the reviews, unfortunately. So it just really makes me feel wonderful.
It does. It's really nice. And you know what? That just confirms for me that we're doing the right thing, that we're doing it the way we want it to. Basically, what he's saying is that it's a great trip down memory lane. That's what we want. This is like our brother time too, because we have busy lives. We live on different coasts. So this is something that also gives us time to catch up. We chit chat, obviously, during the podcast. We talk before and after, share our lives. And so it really is great. It just reassures me that we're doing the right thing with what the content we're producing. And this is like one of the few people other than Jeanette, which is like our
yes, our original radical one.
Our original radical one who, you know, is just so amazing. So we're not trying to be movie stars or something. You know what I mean? Like we're putting out content. Obviously, it would be great to propel the Radical Retro Rewind to more notoriety, get maybe some sponsors, advertisement, things like that. That's our goal eventually, but we're just really happy that we're connecting with people and bringing us stuff that they like and something that makes them remember stuff. And it's a better time. I know I never thought I'd get to the age where I say the 80s was a better time or a simpler time, but it really is. The craziness that is going on today is just too much to even talk about. And that's another thing. I like that we don't get political, that we speak from the heart. You know, we just did Sugar Hill not that long ago, and that was something that we kind of had to think about, how are we going to present this in the way, you know, cancel culture is and stuff, and be respectful. But everything that we put into the show, all the content we put in, is something that we truly love, care about, took something from it, something positive from it. And so it's really nice to hear from somebody that, especially someone who's also a podcaster. I have a new family member we got right before Valentine's Day, which I have not showed the world on Instagram yet. So I will be doing that. Her name is Tracy. The kids named her. She's super adorable. She's beautiful. Oh, we were coming up with all these fancy names. Mike wanted to call her, my husband, he wanted to call her Valenciaga because we have another dog named Ambrosius, which everyone calls Bro because it's too hard. People can't say it or spell it. We were going to call her Valenciaga with a V, not B. And we were going to come up with these names. And one day we just went downstairs after a couple of days of having her, and the kids started calling her Tracy. Like, they were like, "Hey, Tracy."
And you had right? You said none of the kids even
honestly,
watch shows
every time I hear
Tracy.
the name Tracy, I think of either Tracy Turnblatt from Hairspray. I think of Tracy Ullman from the Tracy Ullman Show.
Yeah.
And another movie that we're reviewing soon, A Dirty Shame, with an interesting cast. And I think of Tracy Gold from Growing Pains.
Basically, everything that's not today, because let me just tell you along the lines, Paula Abdul is considered oldies, evidently. So 80s is oldies, because that's what the radio
Let me tell you
station
something.
called.
I follow Paula, and she can still dance. She's still amazing, a dancer. She
looks amazing.
Yeah, listen. It's called money, baby. It's called money.
That's all it takes. So Tracy will be revealed to the world, I'm assuming, soon.
Yeah, soon. I'm gonna put her. I have some really cute shots. She's just a sweetie. I'm so excited because we have two little lap dogs that really aren't super active with my kids or afraid of my children at times because they're too over the top. But Tracy is going to be the type of dog, already is, that she's doing all the cutest things. She's running with a stick. She's pulling on my son's diaper. She's running around. She's excited. The kids are excited. It's a great match. I love to see a dog grow up with children or an animal of some kind, So
especially when they get to grow up with it. It's not like a dog that's been around and older and doesn't want to keep up with the kids. So that is wonderful. And now here's a message from our friends at No More Late Fees.
Throw on your Jinkos, Baby Tees, and Doc Martens, grab your Lisa Frank Trapper Keeper, and join Jackie and Danielle on a journey to the late 90s as we reminisce about the movies of our youth on the No More Late Fees podcast. Don't forget your flannel and butterfly clips. And remember, be kind and rewind.
Okay, so David.
Scream Queens.
Yeah, so this came about, we both watched Scream Queens back in 2015 when it originally came out on Fox.
Yep.
For anyone who doesn't know, this is one of the Ryan Murphy-esque TV shows because it was created by him and a few others. Ryan Murphy is known for many things, mainly American Horror Story. But, David, I go back all the way to WB when he had his 2-season show popular, Mary Cherry.
Yes, Mary Cherry.
Who's had her comeback now, too, the actress. She's on American Horror Story as one of his revolving cast members, but he's been doing things like this since all the way back in the late 90s. In the vein of this, I think he went on to GLEE, of course, American Horror Story, Crime Story, every show in the world this man does. They kind of all have the stamp of Ryan Murphy on it. We were fans of American Horror Story, his type of humor. 2015, we watched the 2 seasons. Now, what prompted you in 2022 to do this little rewatch with your husband, Mike?
So we had seen it originally when it came out, and we saw the 2nd season. I loved it. I was so disappointed when they canceled it. So Ryan Murphy has an amazing ability to take samplings. This is how I look at it. And it's not to say that he steals people's work. I'm saying it like he samples things, like he takes things like we talked about. It's a little bit of Heathers, a little bit of Jawbreaker, a little bit of this, a little bit of Popular, a little bit of Monica in my life, a little bit of Erica by my side. Gilmore Girls. I mean, and then he
GLEE, his own
GLEE, and he puts it to very popular music, different genres. He uses music in a way to represent, fast forwarding and rewinding time, different times and eras. He uses pop culture. He uses music. He obviously has that flair, for gay men. Obviously, he just does it brilliantly, and he has a certain sort of, I don't want to say it's John Waters light, but it's like John Waters kind of twisted, but so funny, and you have to take it the way it is. Like some people would probably be highly offended by certain things, but like his characters. So like in Scream Queens, his characters are so over the top.
Yeah.
But he also, and he does again, he ties in music and clothing of, different periods like the 80s and stuff like that and 90s. So with this particular season 1, he really shows how vapid and cruel and calculated and how heartless certain societies or certain affluent people or people that are in a certain clique. I always say life is high school regurgitated over and over again. You go to a job, you have the jockey guys who talk about sport all the time. I follow sports, but I don't know everybody's MVP and everybody's stats or anything like that. And then you have the popular girls that are the pretty blondes who everyone talks about being a little trampy. And then you have like the nerdy guy and girl.
Or generous, like David says.
Generous. Yes, I believe that when you give of yourself, it's generosity. We used to call those girls generous. We didn't call them sluts. We called them generous.
When you give of yourself. I love that.
And it's you're like a charity. You must give and give and give. It's just what it is. Listen, I've been married forever and I've been together for 11 years. So he does it in such a way where you love to hate the characters, but the characters are so ridiculous and off the wall. And especially, I'm talking about Scream Queens. I've laughed out loud. It's just like Chanel, the number one Chanel Oberlin calls the other Chanels who have their own names. They're not really Chanel. She calls them Chanel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Calls them sluts, whores, bitches. And it's like, again, it's funny, and you'll go, I know you're going to go in the synopsis about it, but it's about a fraternity and a sorority and college life and stuff like that. And it's talking about how this type of mentality, and again, no offense, because there are a lot of really great sororities out there that don't do hazing and things like that. But this is the bad side of it. But he also makes it very funny.
This is not going to be a hating on this show by any means. But I will say, and this has always been Ryan Murphy's problem, he sets up shows, and we're not going to go too much into the second season, but I mean, we're going to go into the series as a general too, but a lot of fans were disappointed with the second season. He tends to do this though on every series he has, and it doesn't usually happen in the second season. It usually happens in the second half of storylines, a lot of times in American Horror Story, and I feel like that almost happened to this show. Matter of fact, the ratings plummeted in season 2. I think it's also one of these shows that it's a niche audience. This is not for everybody by any means.
Yeah, it could be highly offensive to certain people, certain groups. There's even, again, the ugly head of racism is mentioned in here. And even one of the characters that is played by Keke Palmer, Zayday Williams. I love her name. I love it. It's almost like, I just love the name. I would, if I had a girl that I wasn't already adopted, I'd name her Zayday. It's cute. So Zayday basically says to, and again, I'm going to jump around as I always do, Chanel Oberlin, you're openly racist. This sorority is openly racist. And to me, I wonder now, even though it's been like 6 years, would this fly now, even though it's fresh in people's minds, a lot of people mind. Right. Because she is openly racist to some degree. But she's cruel to everybody. She's horrible to everybody. And homophobic too.
That was one of my notes for you. I know it 2015, 2016, in the scheme of things, really wasn't that long ago. I know it feels a century ago at this point. But I think after the last few years, the world has changed so much that this show would never be acceptable, the stuff that Chanel says. I mean, and I haven't watched it in years. This is just going by on clips to refresh my memory and things David and I have discussed.
Well, do you feel like because Ryan Murphy is an openly gay man, and do you feel like he gets a pass on at least the homophobic stuff because he's making fun of it? They call Dean Munch Carpet Munch or something like that, and Boone is played by the very attractive and handsome Nick Jonas. He's a good-looking man. You know what I think people like about him? Besides he's ripped and buff, he's good-looking, but he's not good-looking enough that he's unapproachable as far as I'm concerned. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that the Jonos would feel differently.
No, well, he's gorgeous, but I'm saying he has an approachability to me that maybe because it's his background, maybe because he has a very religious background, he just seems more down to earth. I would be shocked if I heard that he threw a hot coffee on somebody because they didn't get his order right. I would think he was the type of person that would buy a coffee for somebody. I don't know. Maybe that's what I want to believe. So anyway,
yeah.
But yeah, I think he gets a pass because from a gay man's perspective, we laugh about it because it's cliche and it's funny, and we're kind of make light of things because it's a way of bringing things to the surface. This is how stupid people are. They would say something like this as an insult. Okay, now I'm getting really deep. Should I not get deep now? Okay, I love Denise Hempfield, or is it Hempfield? Hemphill? I always say Hempfield. I don't know. She always has something against Zayde, and I didn't like the fact that they paired two black women against each other. She's like, I know it's because she believed she was the killer, but I just thought it was so weird. Did you not think it was a little strange that she always had it out for Zayde, the only other woman of color in the thing? And I don't want to get all, that we don't do the whole political.
Yes.
We're not trying to.
Yes.
I just found it a little weird. I found it strange.
I mean, I remember that as a plot line and being, funny at the same time because of
the way she says it.
Thing of Niecy Nash is just.
I love Niecy.
Since
Nash.
Reno 911 is just fantastic.
If you are in danger, scream Denise Hempfield's name real loud. I will be on the premises at all times, and I will come a-running. Now, let's just say you scream Denise Hempfield's name and I do not come a-running. That means I'm not on the premises. Okay, in that case, proceed to step 2. Call 1-866-KLJ-0199. Okay, I will be notified immediately and come a-running.
I don't know what that was about, honestly. I mean, unless he did it as a way of, he thought maybe her accusing her would go over better, so it wasn't I don't know. But in our nowadays rules of our culture, in the last few years, honestly, is it fair for him to get a pass because he is gay?
My God, this turned into a whole different...
It's a different generation. It's a different generation.
Into a different podcast.
ABC After School Specials.
I guess for some of us who are a little bit older, just slightly seasoned.
Oh my God.
I guess we grew up in a more of a unaccepting time and kind of making joke out of it shows how stupid the people can be when they say, whether it's a racist thing or a homophobic thing or an anti-Semitic thing or whatever. It's you're not making light of the fact that it happened. You're making a joke about the people, how ignorant they are. But maybe not. Maybe I don't appreciate nasty people and some horrific views that are out there, but you have to go through bad times to appreciate the good times, if that makes sense. You have to have some people that are not on the up and up because life is not utopia, unfortunately. So it's to let you know that you have good values and you have you're a good person. I don't know. These people are not a good people. There's very few good people in this whole show.
No, but that's the thing. Yes, this is one of those shows.
They have no morals. They have no values. They have no loyalty. But it's comic genius as far as I'm concerned. The way everything is played out.
Why are you wearing my clothes? The bigger question is, why are you the same size as a 40-year-old woman?
I think you have to be from our generation in a way, David. I don't know how to word this, but this is definitely a gay man's fantasy of writing strong, sassy women. This is a stereotype in a way. This is what Ryan Murphy does, I would say. He makes these sassy, bitchy women that a lot of gay men look up to. Like you said, Heathers, Mean Girls, Jawbreaker.
No, I agree with that. He's also making fun of certain things. So there's a part of the show in the beginning where Ariana Grande is one of the Chanel. She's Chanel number 2.
We didn't even discuss who we have said this.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's go back. All right, rewind me. Retro rewind me.
Good morning, Slits.
Good morning, Chanel.
My name is Chanel Oberlin, and I am the queen of Kappa Kappa Tau. No. 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 These are my minions. I don't know their names. I don't want to know their names. They are known as...
Chanel number 2.
Chanel number 3.
Chanel number 5.
I'm Chanel number 1, obvi. There was a Chanel number 4, but she got meningitis. She was like, I'm sick, I have to go home. And I was like, no, stay. But she went home anyway, and then she died. So another thing I was right about.
I'll see you ladies in bio. Have a colonic at 10.
A lot of people talk smack about how sororities are exclusive and they're a class system. Well, guess what? Life is a class system. And a sorority is the one place left in the world where you get to pick and choose the people around you.
Premise is Kappa Tau sorority at Wallace University, led by Chanel Oberlin, played by Emma Roberts, her fellow Chanels, number 2, Ariana Grande, number 3, Billie Lourd, and number 5, Abigail Breslin. That is threatened by Dean Kathy Munch, Jamie Lee Curtis. Events reunite a 20-year-old murder mystery with the reemergence of the serial killer dressed as the Red Devil mascot, who begins targeting the sorority members. Ariana Grande does a cameo for a few episodes as one of the Chanels. Now, you take it from here.
My point is that Ryan Murphy with the Scream Queens is also making fun of how stupid our current... I'm sorry, I'm not trying to insult anybody. I'm trying to say... So the Red Devil is coming to kill Chanel number 2, Ariana Grande's character, and he texts her because she can't stay away from her phone, I'm going to kill you. And she's like, no, please.
Yeah.
And then she runs to her computer to post on Instagram, I think, I'm being killed by the Red Devil, and he's stabbing her, and she dies, and she gets up one last time so she can press send so that people can see the message, because she can't not have that message sent. She didn't try to save herself. She had to type about it and talk about it like on social media. So to me, that's a direct how ridiculous we have become as a society, that everything has to be put online, and you're not even saving yourself, not running for your life. You're too busy typing, he's coming after me, oh please don't.
I think it's gotten even worse since this first season, living life online. So yeah, we have Emma Roberts as a lead. Now get this factoid. These are probably well known in the Scream Queens community, but Scream Queens was originally intended to be a spin-off of Coven, American Horror Story, with Madison Montgomery, and that is why, according to the trivia, Madison Montgomery and Chanel are similar. But I believe that's because David and I have always said Emma Roberts' range might be this.
I don't know about her range. I may have said this in a podcast like a year ago, when there was a movie called Larry Flynn versus the People, or whatever it was, with about Hustler.
Flynn,
about Hustler magazine. Courtney Love played a drug addict who was ODing. And to me, I love her. She might be crazy. I don't know if she killed Kurt or not, but how far of a stretch is it? You've done that a million times, girlfriend. You've been strung out, and you probably have OD'd a couple of times. So how far of a stretch was that? That's like me playing a fat guy that eats. I've been doing that for a long time, since the pandemic.
Oh my God.
I keep it real. They're
trying to say Madison Montgomery and Chanel are similar because it was intended to be a spin-off. I think he likes this, and I think that she loves doing it as well. She definitely gets joy out of saying these lines, I think. That's just my personal opinion. Do you think so? I mean, come on. The things Chanel's, and they are hysterical, right? She does say hysterical things, but this is definitely home-tuned for her brand of what he's been giving her in these, along the lines in these shows.
They're gonna cancel us now. It's all your fault.
But this is the Scream Queens episode that it was
went off the rails.
Special.
Yeah.
After school special.
I think you should probably put a picture of the Scream Queens and like a train track going off.
Oh my God, this is what this is.
This is at the advertisement.
They didn't know at the beginning
really talk
of this.
About anything. All right. Anyway,
they had such promise when they started this episode.
I was gonna tell them about friction problems too, but I think I'll keep that for the next time.
So, David, there is a lot of funny quotes in this series, and I'll try to sprinkle some throughout the episode, but I know there was some that stood out for you.
One of my all-time favorite ones is when Denise Hempfield is, for some reason, when she's scared, she has to she has to tell scary stories to make herself not scared. So she tells them some horror stories, and she's like, you know, those Japanese, they have all types of stories. This one's the story of the Kappa. And she's telling these scared Chanels about, there's a story of the Kappa. When you go into the bathroom and you think you're alone and you're sitting down, and she says, and the Kappas, and it pulls you by your vagina and crushes your body and raw sewage. And I'm like, what? And then she's like, there's a story of something, the blue toilet paper and the red toilet paper. If you take the red toilet paper, it will slit your throat. If you take the blue toilet paper, it's gonna choke you to death. And so Chanel number 5 is like, why does everything have to be about bathrooms? And Chanel Oberlin says, if you excuse me, I have to find a salad bowl to squat over in the stairwell or under the stairs.
Mama Denise knows you're still scared, so you just might need another ghost story.
No!
This Japanese ghost story is called The Red Cloak, and it's about a ghost who lurks in women's bathrooms.
What? Why? Another story about a bathroom?
I'm just telling the story. The Red Cloak waits until you run out of toilet paper, and then he makes you choose the red roll or the blue roll. If you pick the red roll, you'll slit your throat, and the blood will run out and look like you're wearing a red cloak. But if you pick the blue roll, he will strangle you until you turn blue, and it'll look like you're wearing a blue cloak. The end. I know y'all feel better now. No, we don't.
No more ghost stories! Or at least stop telling them in bathrooms! I really have to pee, but there is no way I'm going anywhere near a toilet. So if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go look for a salad bowl to squat over under the stairwell.
Because she won't go into the bathroom.
Doesn't Chanel have a thing with feces, though, and pee continuous? Like, there's something with her. I remember, like, she always had pee and poop things.
Chanel, Chanel-oween, when she sends them ridiculous things that says horrible things.
Gifts with the fans? Oh,
yeah,
my God.
Rotted pumpkins and stuff. Chanel-oween, like she's giving back to the people.
The downtrodden, unpopular girls that she goes to, that she thinks.
And then there's the original plot too, where they think Chanel was blamed for putting acid in a spray tanner for the original Chanel that hated her, that treated her like garbage. And then she took her place.
Yes, the vicious
cycle. Yes, that is probably one of the best lines, that she has to find a salad bowl to pee under the stairwell because she won't go in the bathroom. Because why is every story about a bathroom? Yeah, I think that's one of my favorites. I mean, there's so many where she calls them stupid sluts, whores, bitches, everything you could possibly imagine. But there's so many one-liners. Like Denise Hempfield's partner gets killed and she throws her out of the security van.
The police car. Yeah, the security van.
And she tells her she's sorry that she did it to her, but she panicked, and then so much. It's so funny.
Shut down while you got a knife in your throat!
I mean, it's a quotable show. There's continuous quotes, one after another. It's basically one of those shows that it's one-liner. You have to include some clips for people to hear that have never seen the show, so they know what we're talking about. So let's just throw out also other characters in this show as well. We have, which I always thought was hysterical, Chanel number 3, Billie Lourd, of course, Carrie Fisher's daughter, and her staple is she wears earmuffs over her ears all the time, which, if anyone doesn't know, this was supposed to be a homage/joke of her mother's Princess Leia bun hairdo in Star Wars movies. But for the character, it is kind of, it's just strange that she's always seen with these earmuffs on. Is it addressed in the first season, David?
Yes, she says something about an ex-boyfriend. It makes her feel good, like safe or something. Maybe he was mean to her. I don't know. It was something about her ears. Yeah, it was something. And she's Charles Manson's daughter, apparently, too. He sends her letters. He sends her letters to telling her to kill all of the other sorority sisters. One of the things, what did he say in the letter? I don't know anything about yeast infections, but I know you should kill your sorority sisters or something like that. This is what I'm trying to say. It's crude, funny humor.
And this definitely would have to go, I think, on a streaming service now. It probably didn't fit on Fox to begin with. That's probably what the Popular problem was with Popular on the WB. He does these characters that live in their own reality, and it makes sense for the characters. But again, this is not a show for off the cuffs, I'm watching a weekly TV show person, I think. This is a specialty.
This isn't Grey's Anatomy.
No, although they become nurses in the second season. That's a whole other thing. We also have Chanel number 5, again with the Heathers reference, Abigail Breslin, and she is the character that is always the bane of Chanel number 1's existence, I guess. She's in the group included. She makes fun of everybody, but she has a particular sass for number 5.
She can't stand her. She says she hates her. She tells everybody that she has teeth in her vagina. Can we say?
I think that's the
word?
Technical term, right?
She has teeth in her private area.
Oh my god.
They call her fat, they call her ugly, stupid. But again, that shows you the type of, and I feel like she's only in this group because she's rich. Her family owns the Swansons TV dinners, which is a throwback to, think about the 80s. I remember those TV dinners. I used to love the little cranberry thing and the little brownie that came, and there is nothing sacred here.
Is it in season 1, David, where they introduce other members of the sorority? Isn't there one girl and she lights them, right? Like as she's gonna make love to herself?
So here's the thing. Dean Munch, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, love her, the original Scream Queen herself.
Yes.
Jamie Lee Curtis is the head of the university. She can't stand the Chanels because she hates what they stand for.
Right.
Again, these horrible human beings, this sorority. She witnessed a death of a sorority sister that was pregnant, who died in a bathtub because the head of the sorority wanted to dance to Waterfalls because it was playing by TLC. She said, this is my jam. So she let the girl die in a bathtub, giving birth to these babies because she could care less about her. Again, seeing how these people are so horrible human beings they don't even care about. They were more concerned about people knowing that she was pregnant or whatever the case is. So Dean Munch knew about this, so she had part of the cover-up. She hates the sorority, so she makes them take in pledges that are less than perfect. A deaf girl, which again is nothing to laugh about. Like a girl with a neck brace and a head brace. Kind of a frumpy girl who candle blogs.
I loved that.
Zayde Williams by Keke Palmer, I think she's beautiful. The only reason why they didn't like her was because she was black, I think. And what was what's her name?
She is the other quote unquote normal character, Grace Gardner. Is that her? Skylar Samuels.
Yes, Grace. And so they are allowed to pledge, which infuriates Chanel. Then this show gets crazy. Like she wants to scare the pledges. So she's going to pretend to burn Miss B's, is it B? Miss B's face, their maid, basically live-in maid, where she basically throws trash on the ground, makes her pick it up.
That's terrible. Oh my gosh.
They're beneath her. She basically could poop on the floor and make her clean it up because she's the servant. This is how it starts. She accidentally fries Miss B's face because someone puts the fryer on.
Right, the hot oil. Oh my god. Oh my god.
So there's a series of murders. So they're trying to find out who the killer is. There's so many twists and turns, but the maid gets killed. Chanel number 2 gets killed. They put them in a meat locker.
Yes.
And the bodies keep disappearing. So Chanel has convinced herself that she didn't kill anybody, that they were still alive, and they're seeking revenge by killing other Chanels. And you have the Red Devil who's going around killing different people. There's just different murders going on. Okay, so then there's the fraternity is the Dickie Dollar Scholars. Now, I don't know what that's about. And you have the main character is Chad, Chanel's on-again, off-again boyfriend, and Boone, his friend he likes to play golf with, who is also known as Gay Boone.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
The Red Devil chops people's arms off, he hacks them, he kills them, and there's just constantly murdering and killing, and in just weird ways, and they're stalking. And the thing is that they all turn on each other. They're like, you could be this, you could be it. And it's like certain things that could not Like when we talk about Scream, the reason why I loved when I first watched the movie Scream is is because, and I always said this to my husband and people that if we talk about Scream, is I didn't think I wanted to like Scream. When I thought, I was like, oh, this is going to be stupid, right? I liked it because it's feasible, because there was 2 killers in Scream. So there was one could be playing, one could be setting it up, and the other could be following through. One could use the other as a alibi, whatever, the whole shebang. So this is interesting. There's multiple Red Devil killers here.
I definitely think Scream was also in Ryan Murphy's thinking process when he did this. And that, especially the part when they're all thinking like, this person's a killer, that person's a killer. And that's when they hire Niecy Nash, right, as the security officer.
Dean Munch does not want bad publicity. So she's trying to pretend that people aren't getting murdered. Oh, they just disappeared. They left school. They're not dead. They're on vacation. She comes up with any kind of thing. So she hires Denise Hempfield. I'm calling her Hempfield because I like the way it sounds. Denise Hempfield from, what is it? Secure
Enforcement Solutions and their 3-step program.
And they're like, do you have a gun? She's like, no, but I have pepper spray and I have this and I have it. And I have a phone that will call the police and they have guns. But Dean Munch hires her because she doesn't want the police to know about it. But then when the police get involved, they're so inept and stupid, and Dean Munch is screwing the detective anyway, among other people. She's also having sex with Chanel's on-again, off-again boyfriend.
That's Chad Radwell?
Chad, yes. And Chad only wants to go with hot chicks, and he wants to be able to have sex with every woman, including ugly ones. And he gets off in going to cemeteries and wants to have sex on top of dead bodies.
God. Yeah, they hit on everything in this. And Chanel's okay with it. She goes along with it.
Sometimes she's like, Chad, why would you? But then she gets up because she wants him and she wants his money. Chad ends up banging every type of chick, and then Boone is supposedly in love with Chad. Gay Boone. He tells him he's scared. He makes him go in bed. And then Chanel runs over at one of the times because she just broke up with him again. She sees them together, and here's the funny part. Even though Chad is such a pig and this and that, he's not homophobic. He loves Boone. As a brother, he thinks Boone is amazing. He plays golf with him. He loves Boone. He actually loves admiration because he knows that Boone has a thing for him, supposedly. So she comes in, rushes in, and he's like, there's nothing going on. And how dare you, stereotypes? And she goes, he has a boner. Boone said he was scared and he needed to feel comfortable and safe because of the Red Devil killer. So he got into bed with, which again, 2 very good looking guys.
Yeah, of course. This is Ryan Murphy's dream.
Well, could be my dream too. You never know. Take out the Red Devil.
So more facts, David. They originally gave the first season a 15-episode order based on the success of American Horror Story's current season at the time. But then Fox later dropped the episodes down to 13 for the first season. And then another one that I thought was really interesting is they sent the first script to Jamie Lee Curtis saying how much they loved her. If she did not agree to do this, the show would not be going forward. That's pretty big.
I'm actually shocked that Jamie Lee Curtis has not been in American Horror Story, unless she's too busy or doesn't need to work as much anymore or at all, really. I don't know, but I'm actually shocked because she would be, to me, on the same level as Angela Bassett and
Kathy Bates
and
Jessica Lange.
Jessica Lange, as far as she's really cool chick. I mean, I know that her genre is really horror, but that would totally tie into most of the stuff that he does, which is all horror, American Horror Story. I'm actually shocked that she is not, because I don't know, she can do so many things. She's done comedy. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah. So, oh my God. Of course.
So, but yeah, there's multiple murders in different ways, and you find the twists and turns. And so Grace's boyfriend Pete once had an obsession with Chanel Oberlin. She embarrassed him. She made him dress like Dancing with Wolves or something and beat his chest, and everyone laughed. As some kind of sexual thing, and everybody was watching from their lofty perch in her expansive closet that's the size of my house or something. She made him dress up in like some kind of thing and act like he's Tarzan or something. So he has it out for her. So you later find out there's multiple Red Devils. There's also the plot where there is revenge from finding out who the 2 babies that were born in the bathtub.
Yes, there is that other subplot. Yes.
And you see that Grace thinks that she's one of them because her dad is so super secret about her mom. And her dad is such a 80s, 90s dude that makes tapes, mixtapes and CDs and stuff. And then there's another character, Gigi, who's a nutbag who dresses in like Cabaricis and Jordache, and
That's
she's
the one
like
from SNL, right? She used to be on
know.
SNL.
I don't know, but I didn't recognize her. I mean, she was funny. So she plays like she's stuck in the 80s.
Gigi.
So it all comes into, and then he's sleeping with her. Dean Munch wants him to sleep with her. So there's kind of like a back and forth battle to get his attention. So Grace's dad. Yeah, Niecy Nash's character is sleeping with Chad as well.
I loved that as well, that she got some too, because she is a fan favorite character. She's a recurring character. She wasn't in every episode, but she steals the show when she is on the show.
She's super physical comedy, and that's what I like about her too. Has that physicality that not all comedians and all actors have. She just puts her whole body into it. I just love her. I've never seen her in something and not think that she makes me want to pee my pants as far as comedy. I don't know if she does other stuff, but I'm fine with what she does because she does such a great job of it. What do you remember? Is there anything you want to add? Because I feel like
I do remember that I loved Zayde. So she was a fantastic lead, really likable, but I think, and we discussed this off camera, I think that's really Keke Palmer's likability too as well, that comes through. I mean, I remember as well, did they think the father was the killer at one point?
Yes, and then he thought maybe his daughter was a killer, but he had to sit down with her and talk about it. They had these multiple meetings all the time. And then there was Thanksgiving where they all had Thanksgiving at Kappa House, and then Gigi's head was under the platter instead of the turkey. You find out that Dean Munch killed her ex-husband because he went out with a student and married her, and then she framed the student for part of the murders. And then there is the character of Hester, who was Chanel number 5 or 6?
6, actually. Yes, number 6.
Chanel, who is actually one of the babies from the bathtub. You find out at the very end, which kind of you know about it. But Chanel Oberlin does the typical makeover. I'm going to make the ugly girl pretty. I in my head I was thinking last Friday night. Like she pulls the brace off. She does this, and then Chad ends up banging her too. And then they try to have sex.
That's right. Rule, bitch, but don't forget who made you.
Yeah, then Chad, they go to a haunted house because Zayde is trying to become president of Kappa House to get rid of Chanel because she's a scumbag, basically. And so they have set up a haunted house, but the Red Devils put all the multiple dead bodies of everybody they killed.
Yes.
And Chad tries to have sex with Hester on top of the Mrs. B's dead body, and she pokes it because she's like, oh, this is a wax thing. Oh, it's so hot. And it's like, ugh, gross, like stuff coming out of a dead body. So,
of course, that's Leah Michele.
Is she still canceled for being a witch?
I hope she stays canceled. Another person who's just misunderstood on set.
You know what I don't understand?
You don't see her doing nothing. That just explains it, too.
Here's the thing. Any job that you work at, whether you're an actor, a singer, an accountant, there's a certain decorum you have to have. You know what? You have to realize, I feel like all the really good actors and actresses realize, for the most part, they have to be present, and they can stand their ground. If a director's a pervert or something, that's one thing. But you have to be able to roll with the punches, accept criticism, but also be cordial, because all the people around you, you talk about David from the other podcast doing everything. You do all the technical work and everything for our podcast. The people around you, your makeup artist, your hairstylist, all of them make you who you are. So you can't turn people off, and you certainly can't turn on your co-stars for stupid reasons because your ego was too big. She didn't want the other girl to sing more than she did or whatever.
So terrible. So terrible. More trivia, David. Many people have been asking Ryan Murphy about continuing or rebooting Scream Queens. As of 2019, he wrote on Instagram or Twitter, which has become one of his most popular posts. So many people recently have been asking me about rebooting or continuing Scream Queens. Rest in peace, taken too soon. Emma, Billie, Leah, and I have mused on it. But question, should it be a 6-episode limited? A catch-up movie? Who would I bring back? Would love your thoughts. So many questions. This post, David, has gained support from stars Emma Roberts, Leah Michele, because what else is she doing? John Stamos, as well as fans chiming in on their sorrow that Scream Queens was canceled in the first place. Murphy has also stated that wheels are turning with him, mentioning that the show may not come back in its initial form, but could end up as a movie or limited series. And of course, his attempt to bring back Roberts, Michele, Billie, Lourd.
Would you watch a Scream Queens actual movie, like an hour and a half movie? Yeah, I would watch it.
I, of course, would, but I honestly think the problem was that he ran out of plot in the first season. So the first season could have been its own limited series kind of thing, because the original intent, David, was to do American Horror Story, that every Scream Queen season was going to be different with new characters and new situations. The popularity of those characters had him keep them, but then when he brought them to the hospital setting, there was a time jump. I think I got too over the top for people at that point.
I still liked it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just...
I mean, I did too. I laughed, but I even remember saying it's like...
Yeah, kissed Kirstie Alley. He had
John
all these
Stamos, Taylor Lautner, right? You were saying?
Jacob. He's not doing much. Let him come back too. Or did he die?
He might have died. I remember, though, didn't John Stamos and either Jamie Lee end up together on an island? Or was it Emma
Hester.
Roberts? I would love for it to come back. I hope he plans things out, has his beginning, middle, and end. I guess if it's a movie, it has to be self-contained, but I don't see why not. I mean, it still has huge fan support. Yeah, I think before time gets too far.
Which brings us back to our original conversation, I think. Would it fly in current times, being that there's a lot of homophobic, racism, and all different things? I mean, could you revisit? I mean, there was a point where the last episode of Scream Queens, the original series, the first season, you see...
Not the VH1 show where they competed to be in a horror movie?
No, that was good, though. That was good.
The second season shows Kathy Munch having opened a hospital after leaving the university business. She has taken acquitted Chanel, Libby, and Sadie under her wing after the real Red Devil killer came clean. While handling different medical cases, Kathy and the Chanels end up encountering a new killer called the Green Meanie. Zayday is working at this hospital.
Well, to be honest with you, how did Scream do it? First it was the brother, or was it Nev Campbell's mother was a hoe and she slept with and ruined the marriage or something. So then the guy wanted revenge on her. But how many times did they have Scream? So why couldn't quote unquote Scream Queens follow that same formula? Maybe Gigi had another child that you didn't know about. I mean, if they can do that with Charmed, the mother had babies, and especially now, what are they going to do with the new Charmed? What are they going to do with now that one girl's gone? Woman, I should say woman. She's a pretty girl too. I like her. I mean, other things in the Scream Queen. She spit in their coffee.
I would say this is John Waters-esque TV show of what you can get away with on TV nowadays. And I'm not saying it's wrong or right, but I think Ryan Murphy, if he does get to bring Scream Queens back, especially if it's on like a Netflix he'll get that pass, I think, because of who he is. Not only his popularity in Hollywood, but because being a gay man, I think you'll get him that pass. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but even in our time of wokeness, we can't cancel every form of entertainment.
But you see, like people are finally coming for Andy Cohen.
They are,
but I guess for different reasons. I guess so. I don't know. I would personally love to see it. I don't know to what sort of would they go back to the university? Would they start fresh someplace else? Would there be a new generation of Chanels? Well, how did it leave off? So it left off with Hester and the doctor on an island, but they were still nurses at the place.
I don't know if that place.
I don't remember.
Down.
So what if
Lee only do it just because she was dying of some rare disease or something? It turned out to be that she bought the hospital, but then she wasn't.
Maybe they go back to the university as teachers.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same thing as suspend belief, because definitely.
Or it's the next generation of Chanels.
And there goes back to the Heather thing. And yeah, they would be the teachers at the university, maybe. I mean, hell, Emma Roberts was in Scream 5. Guess what that character was like near the end, David?
Bea?
Sassy talking character.
She was saucy.
I think she was playing Montgomery again.
You gotta play to your strengths. I always say, what's his name? What's his name plays the same character over and over again. oh god, there's a couple actors I feel like they always do this. And no offense to them.
Will Ferrell to me.
Will Ferrell plays the same character.
Always.
I feel like what's his name? He was just in Jennifer Lopez movie.
Owen Wilson, yes.
Owen Wilson very much plays. I feel like he plays the same character. You get pigeonholed anyway into certain things, and you can make a living. Some actors choose to stay within that, and they're satisfied, and some feel very down because they're never able to do certain things. You never thought that Monique would have been able to do Precious, but you never know. So
you're right, actually. You're right. I would love to see her in other roles because the one time in American Horror Story, was it Freak Show, when she played a decent reporter, finally, a decent character who ended up getting killed, I believe. I want to see her play a different character other than here she goes, or change the name. It's still Madison Montgomery. It's still Chanel. Just fill in new character name. You know, I'm not hating. I just wish the one before me would have warned me too.
I'm not hating, but I wish the one before me would have warned me too.
Sure sounds like it.
I think it's a great show. Honestly, David, how long really would it take you to get through the whole series? Probably what? If depending on how much you got to binge.
Okay, so
a few weeks?
My husband and I did 1.5 to 2 shows almost every night. We made it basically. So here, okay. For those of you out there that do not have multiple children, animals, and everything else, you could go through this in a weekend if you really wanted to. Your eyes would be bloodshot and you'd be dead, but you could do it. So we did like 1 a night and maybe sometimes 1.5 or 2 a night. So we basically got through it in like a week and a half, really. And we made a commitment. Those little minions their butts were in bed by 7, even though they probably didn't go to sleep till 8. Denise Henfield had his eyes on them.
I think the second season is even shorter, so you could probably get through that. It might be 10 episodes. That's not bad. I think the whole series is about 20-something episodes.
If you like Ryan Murphy, if you like John Waters, if you like Offbeat, if you're not easily offended, by far this is not the most offensive thing I've ever seen. Believe me.
No, not at all. But I'm going by would this fly now?
Yeah. Like I said, if you like Ryan Murphy's what he produces, you like the ridiculous, the twisted. There's so many plot twists and turns, like you don't know, but at the same time you're like, are these people this stupid that they don't realize that?
yeah.
And if you get a kick out of like the meanness of it without really reading into it, because again, like I told you, it's really, I know so many people have taken their own, and not to bring this down, but people have taken their lives being bullied and even in college. I know the kid that was gay and he had an experience with another man. They filmed it and put it online, and he basically breaks my heart because I wish I was there I would have, stopped it, kind of a thing. That's how I am. I'm a fighter. And so part of it does bring to light the ridiculousness of it. But if you're doing it for a purely comedy and how ridiculous people are, and making fun of them too while they're making fun of others, it's good. I loved it. I don't care. I would love him to do something. I think there's a way to salvage it. You could go back to the university. I think that would probably be the best if you're keeping continuity. Otherwise, I would reboot it and make Chanel. I mean, how old is Emma Roberts technically? I mean, she looks great. She could still play that 20-year-old. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily make her somebody's mother. So you could go back to the university. You could.
God, she was born in 1991. She's 31 years old. She could definitely play a 20-year-old.
Well, if she was in Saved by the Bell, she could be 40 playing a 16-year-old.
And by the way, yes. First season, 13 episodes. Second season, 10. So what, 23 altogether?
I think people will get a kick out of it. And I think most people will enjoy the humor or cringe, but laugh so hard at it, how stupid it is and ridiculous.
The people that would watch Scream Queens, I think, would know by the first episode if you're going to like this series or not, honestly.
If you liked Heathers, you would like it because it's really, or Mean Girls and Heathers and all of that stuff, you would like that to some degree. It's a little bit obviously elevated and there's murder and stuff like that, but that's done in a ridiculous way. And the reaction is so ridiculous to the murder.
Yes, but that's part of the charm. It is a definite tongue-in-cheek show, a definite suspend reality show. It's just one of those shows that has their own world where things can happen in it. which is okay. It's self-contained and it's over the top in its own self. So I think all in all, David, the series is good. It's 23 episodes long. I don't think, if this sounds interesting to you, or I even might go back and rewatch it now, David.
Who has time between Brunch with the Hollowells, this podcast, and just living life and different things?
Yeah, streams and everything, but I would like to.
But it's a labor.
I would like to. And one day, it's on Hulu, right? So it's there.
Listen, we have to come up with a rating system like, how many glow sticks would you give it? I don't know. What if we come up with something very radical and retro?
I get the glow sticks. Well, what would you give this show? I mean, clearly you love it. If you had to give it an honest rating, though, out of 10?
Out of 10? It's hard because I don't think I think it's got a very
niche audience.
Yeah, so I honestly would give it, if it's for the niche audience, I would give it a solid 8, 9.
I mean, yeah, for the people that this is for, you will eat the hell out of it. You will eat it up.
If you're not that part of that, I'd probably drop it down to like a 5, 6.
The actors and actresses do great jobs. It's just you really have to suspend belief, and if you can't do that, then this is not the show for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Much like the Radical Retro Rewind, you have to suspend belief that we know what the hell we're talking about each week on this show.
I don't know about you, but I know how to pronounce words. No.
You got your pronunciations? your pronunciations? So, David, you're going to put pictures of Tracy up on your Instagram, right?
I am. I'm just going to rapid fire. You know, I do this. I go off for like a couple of weeks and all of a sudden I post like 50 things at one time. So, yeah.
That will be on his Instagram, which is Universal Appeal 2020, all one word. Oh, you're going to become Universal Appeal 2022? He's staying 2020.
I am sticking to 2020 so that I can give it a big middle finger to the COVID virus and everything else.
And that's right. You survived and you here.
I will make 2020. I will make 2020 good.
I love that. That's on Instagram, by the way. And the Radical Retro Rewind podcast, also one word on Instagram. We're also on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for listening, liking, sharing the podcast. We appreciate you so much, Radical Ones. And if you ever want to leave a voicemail on Anchor, we would love to hear from you, and also a review. As we did earlier, we will read it on the show. We will put it on the Instagram. We'll put it on a shirt.
If you love us.
We're desperate.
We'll play it. We'll play your voicemail even.
Oh my God, definitely. We will play
I'll play it to
air.
my children. I'll play it to my children as a bedtime story. I'll do anything.
You heard it here. Please, anyone, go to the Anchor FM website for Radical Retro Rewind. Leave us a voicemail. We're desperate to hear you. We're desperate. You hear?
And if you love Emma Robinson, Leah Michele, Ryan doesn't, but I'm okay with them.
No. Thank you again, David. Thank you for being here. And we will be back next time with more Radical episodes here on the Radical Retro Rewind podcast. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
It smells like booty in here.
Yeah.
We hope you have enjoyed today's presentation.